Welcome to Freelancers Coffee Break Podcast. I'm your host, Ali, and with my co host, Mehmet Turan, we talk about freelancing and business and freelancing business. And this intro that I can't make out to be something like specific each time. I don't know what to say. We're going to talk about closing deals.
Exactly.
So when a client comes to you and says, "Hey,
I have this.
I have this," and give me a quote or like talk about your
What can you do about you
Mhm.
you send a proposal from Upwork, etc., and they just return back, say, "Okay, your profile looks interesting. Let's talk." So,
Yeah.
what do we do after that? Because you remember we talked few months back, possibly, you had an issue. In fact, one of the people who works with you had proposed the guy like 5% increase or 10% increase every 3 months. You remember that thing? It's
Yeah,
once the person
that was
comes
Doğukan.
in.
That was Doğukan actually. He
Yeah,
said 25% every
25.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy. Who would accept that? They will never go
yeah,
for it. Why would they? It's funny if you're
exactly.
like working for an hour for $1, then yeah, be my guest. Make it 25%. But as the numbers increase, the cost increase. And these Americans and the people in the North American continent, they do not look at like your hourly rate or your weekly rate or your monthly rate. They look at your yearly cost. They look at you as a cost. So it might look like you're making like a 5% increase is actually, I think, reasonable when you consider the inflation in United States. But like 10%, that's, this guy is gonna think, oh, like 10% is this in 12 months. And if 10% is like $12, say, and say a podcast, right? You're doing 3 episodes a week and you're increasing each episode by $12. When it's like 120, you're making it 130 or 100, whatever, And so the client will come to you and say, "Hey, like this is like $3,000. This is not a small increase. This is like a $3,000 increase in a year, and I wouldn't call that small." So, yeah, so that's like something that you should avoid, but then make the deal when the time is right.
Exactly. The first thing is pricing negotiation. But of course, we'll come to the pricing negotiation. But still, on Upwork, there is this feature. I also use that feature, tried it a couple of times. It's irritating to clients. For example, we are using this Riverside to broadcast, to record this episode. And we buy, you and I also buy a lot of packed solutions. Adobe Creative Cloud, there are lots of subscription service, but none of them tells you 1 year before we are going to increase it 5% or 10% next year. If you had heard of it, you would probably put something in your calendar if you really want that software, just to remind you that if you want to continue with that software or not. For example, you are using Netflix, it tells you, and if you're paying in US dollars, every year I'm going to increase it by 10%. You wouldn't like it at all.
No.
It will be very irritating. So it's far better, after I tried it a couple of times, it's far better when the time is right, as you said, just to message the client and say, okay, due to raising costs, etc., I'm planning to increase my rates as of this date.
Yeah. So when the time comes, then you can increase or you can leave that client.
Yeah. Yeah.
So say you took the job and it's now a year or 2 years, and there's always the opportunity cost, but that's like another episode, I guess, right? So how to close a deal.
Yeah.
So one thing,
Let's say,
the first thing to avoid, just don't tell them that you're gonna increase before you get the job. So
exactly. No need to talk about. In fact, the best is to move, if possible, to leave pricing not to the very end, but not at the very beginning as well.
yeah,
Just start talking. First of all, sometimes people talk too much, and sometimes they don't talk at all. The first thing is, I think, is to listen the client. Just tell what you need. Just try to understand what that person exactly needs, and let him talk as much as he wants. And even if you don't like taking notes, keep on taking notes. If you're having a Zoom call, it's chat something else. But if you're having a Zoom call, and I would highly recommend having a video call. I don't know your experience.
that was 6 years ago, but I remember. So yeah, taking notes is important, but yeah, I think that's not what we should focus on.
The thing is that taking notes just gives the other side impression that you are taking him serious.
Oh,
Okay,
when you're in when you're in a video call.
Yeah, video call. Yeah, take notes and note everything. Then whatever he said, he feels like, okay, I'm taking seriously, and so on.
Yeah.
Then after he finishes, then write 3 or 5 important questions you would like to ask. The last project I take, we are recording this on Monday evening, and I took one project on Friday, and the guy said directly, I liked your questions.
Yeah.
What his market is, who are his customers are, with what he's targeting, what he likes, what he doesn't like, for example, for a podcast, what kind of podcast does he listen, and what he misses if he is already running a podcast, what he's not happy with. So you can address everything that he is not satisfied with.
Or if it's like a client who has no idea about what they know what they want, but they don't know what's
how
up.
to explain it.
Yeah. So, or like, again, for a podcast, you need a mic. You want like quality, then you need you need guidance if you don't know anything. So it's good to like, not when you're trying to get the deal, but it's good to give them a piece of information on how you're going to guide them throughout the process if it's something that needs guidance. So that's like one green flag for clients, which works because they have no clue sometimes, so they do need help. It is service. So
meaningful suggestions, ideas, and so on are usually effective. Even giving some examples, I don't like to make free trials. That's making your contribution cheap, I would say. But you can make paid tests. That means, let's say your rate for that thing is $100, but you can say, okay, as a paid test, I can do it for $50 or $70. That's okay. You make a discount on their first run, but if they just keep on asking, free trial for that, when you do it free, then your job doesn't have any meaning. They usually say, oh, you can put a watermark, or you can add something on the sound file.
it's so stupid. Why would I do free work for you? Like, and I'm like really angry. Like I snap when someone comes and asks me for a test. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I got 10,000 hours right there on Upwork. Why would I have to prove myself? Who the hell are you? You have to prove yourself to me. Like, this is very frustrating, Mehmet, isn't
Yeah.
it? Though, like like they don't know, like someone who's asking,
Mm-hmm.
like if you're like if you have no experience at all,
Mm-hmm.
like I at one point did not have any job history, but you know
Mm-hmm.
what I did? I just, this guy shared the sample and I just did the whole thing because I needed to,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't need, like, I did it willingly. He didn't even ask. And that's how I got my first job, actually. Uh, he shared the sample.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a whole episode. And back then I couldn't think of like going to YouTube and downloading something and editing it to my portfolio, just, editing and working on it.
Got it.
But yeah, so I didn't have material to work on. So I saw it as an opportunity and I took the job. But like you're experienced and yeah, it's just a red flag. I just ignore when they do that.
Mm. Well,
So
when they ask me something like that, what I respond with is that they also usually tell me, "Oh, you can just watermark it. I won't be able
yeah,
to use it, etc." I say, first of all, watermark is not a thing anymore. You can just put it in AI, and it can just clean it out. And
yeah,
second thing is that when I'm editing it, I already spent the time. You cannot bring back the spent time after I use it. I could have used that time for something that's more effective. Even if I don't have any jobs to do, I can use it for my own marketing. I can just make a new LinkedIn post and post that one. And it might be more effective than, doing
yeah,
something for you, and it won't be used for anyone. And it's just waste of time at my end. Just as you said, if you don't have any references, it might be feasible. But when you look at it now, it's like 490 projects, 5 stars,
there
and
has to
almost
be,
no.
if
Yeah,
it's gonna be feasible, there has to be authenticity in it. Like what I
yeah.
mean is, maybe authenticity is not the right word, but like there must be this, like if I was hiring a newbie, um I would say, hey, just like let me see, I would pay, but like I would, if I don't have money, I would just, at that moment, I was, hey, let me just like see some of your work, or like what can you do? Look, I'm looking to hire,
Mhm.
but you have nothing to show, so I'll have to make sure. If you're having like if you're within a conversation like this, maybe, why not? But this is like if you have no experience whatsoever.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
You
yeah, free.
listen, you ask questions,
Yeah, you listen.
you refuse free test.
Yeah,
Of course, this is what I think. If as a freelancer, if you believe you have to um, make free test, do it. But as I said, I'm against it. And also know when to stop talking. This is a mistake I did a couple of times.
yeah. This is really
You
important. Yeah,
you under you feel like you got the job already. Maybe the guy is talking about what you can do, and you keep on talking. You still keep on talking, and that sometimes backfires. You say something that you shouldn't have said. You can either lower your rate, or you can just, for example, let's say the guy is interested, talking and talking, and then suddenly you say, "Oh, I don't do weddings at all." And it's not a wedding thing, but maybe you are going to retouch a bridal stuff, and the guy said, "Okay, this is a fashion bridal thing, but it's to do with wedding. Maybe you are not the right fit." You just, once you understand you are getting the job, stop. Don't talk anymore. It's easy to mess up so easily. I did it a couple of times. It's a mistake at my end.
yeah,
And
and also like it's a process. So there's actually so many pieces in any job, and it's uh, impossible to explain everything to someone who doesn't know shit. So just take it step by step and
Mhm.
slowly, and let them speak. Sometime, if they're wrong, you'll correct them, and it'll be great.
And the most crucial part is the pricing, as I said. Don't start with it at the very beginning, but don't leave it at the end, because When you leave at the end, they have an expectation, for example, a budget in their mind, and you leave it at the end, and everything goes so well. Then suddenly you either they tell their rate or you tell your rate, and suddenly you understand that it's so far there is no way even to negotiate. So you spent your hours, maybe even if it's a short conversation, your time for
Your
a
energy.
project, your energy exactly for something that won't be able to satisfy by both parties. So leaving it to the very end is very discouraging, and I wouldn't like to start it at the very beginning because your rate might be high, and by explaining yourself, you can justify why your rate is high. So wouldn't start with it, but wouldn't end with it. Just talk about it somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And also, like, there's a client for every price.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a buyer. It's just a matter of how you present, I guess, how you present yourself. And of course, like, to be able to present yourself, you'll have to, like, for me, Mehmet, it's a long road. People think it's easy, but it's not. Like, we're talking about what, like, since 2014, we're talking about, let's say, fucking hard labor, literally. You know, like back pains, weight loss, sleepless nights, social life gone. You put in the work. Then, like, people think that freelancing it could be actually a side hustle, but if you want to really grow your business, it has to get beyond that. And beyond that, even beyond what you're like doing in your daily job, you're going, coming, watching
It
some Netflix. Like, no. Like, you gotta work that ass off, right, Mehmet? Then you'll close
yeah,
deals.
it can only be side hustle when you first start, I think. When you first start, and if you want to keep it as second income, yes. But if it becomes serious and you drop everything else, of course it has to be the full-time job. And when people dream about making huge amounts. Probably they see your Upwork profile or my Upwork profile, and they say, okay, if he charges, maybe they are talented as we are, but what I'm trying to tell is that we are not high in the classes.
And I love the
Clouds.
fact that, Mehmet, you come from this corporate background, and I come from this like struggling artist background, which which we meet actually somewhere. And yeah, that's really cool. But yeah, all like you too and me too, we had to like give up a lot of stuff to be able to have like this profile, which is like maybe worth, I don't know, a lot of money, because if you take it as a business, it's like a cash flowing thing that you turned into over the years of work. So these are like really, really important pieces. But to get that, you just have to humble yourself, I guess. And people don't understand that it's a service. Like I always say, life is a service. Like we are here to serve others, not only in terms of business, but like serve our families, serve our friends, serve ourselves, and serve our clients. And I think that's like the most important piece for people to understand, because when you over deliver and when you add value, that's when you got a deal. Because like when you really got a deal, then you'll have money coming from it. Like not for once, not for twice, but for years. From this one person will pay you. I've seen it with myself, seen it with you, seen it with many other freelancers. And that's, I think, when you close a deal, not when you get hired by someone, but when you're able to sustain that someone.
Exactly. And also, what I would say, just as you said, once you agree on a price, on a rate, negotiation, maybe we'll talk, because price negotiation is something else. Maybe we'll talk it in an episode, because by itself, price negotiation is very long subject. We can do it in some other episode. But once you make a deal with a client, try to keep him as long as possible, because as you said, if you give them the service they need and you keep on providing the quality, then that person becomes a long-term client. And the thing is that on Upwork or direct clients, it's very difficult. We talked before we started the program. We spend these connects on Upwork, and it can be hundreds of dollars, and you just get, maybe as your rate increases, there are fewer clients who are interested to pay your rates. So maybe you spend $100 and just maybe find one client. And if
It's worth it.
that one client sticks with you, but in long term, that $100 you spent and sent connects to maybe 10 or 20 different clients, only one you had ability to take as a client. But if that person sticks with you for years, maybe you'll be making $50,000 or $20,000 a year, $15,000 a year. So $100 at the beginning looks like a lot of money to get one client, but it's nothing when you compare. It's time and energy, but as you keep on making that person happy with the quality, with the service you provide, then the cost of getting that client isn't that high. Getting a new client is high.
Exactly. Yeah, and yeah, I guess it's a struggle when you're starting out. But
Yeah.
I'm seeing, look, whoever I'm seeing getting new jobs have like really low rates. And yeah, there's a market for that, which you can improve through, which you can, start with, and then, keep raising, there's no end to it. So, yeah, it's just, I guess you gotta have to, so basically, what did we say so far? We said, what was the first thing?
First thing, listen the client and listen what exactly he needs. Second is ask the right questions.
Give them guidance.
And yes. Third, explain what you understood, what you will be providing. Okay, I understand, kids. I understand what you need. These are the points, and I'll be able to provide these. Then you move to the pricing part.
Yep.
The pricing part. Then you move if the client is interested in your rates, or if the negotiation starts, you try to reach a point. We'll talk about negotiation skills in terms of pricing in another episode. If you reach all those agreements, then you try to create a construct, what you'll be delivering, time frame, cost, and so on. You summarize it and stop talking about it. You try to understand if there's anything additional. You also write it down, send that person. This is once you reach an agreement, I think it's very important. Send a message, an email, or Upwork message. Tell them what you understand, what you'll be providing, the terms, and so on. Because
so I would do things like when I started working hourly, I would do things like for example, typically an hour long podcast takes like around 3 hours to edit, right? But like if I'm at that 3 hours limit, and if I told them that I would finish up within 2.5 to 3 hours, then I would just stop the timer, and will not overcharge, will not want to scare them off. I was really, really careful about this. Maybe it was stupid for me to do that, but at the time, it just worked. So they were really, really happy that you weren't going beyond that like price tag you gave them, even if it's like hourly. And if it's like there's extra work, say it's like an 80-minute episode, then I'll tell them, hey, this is longer, so therefore it's going to take me longer. So yeah, they want, actually, one of the most important things I think is they want to be able to monitor what they're going to be paying. So this is really important. So it's really important that this is clear. Like even if you're working hourly, you should have your own limits, not the time limit they give you, because usually they won't give you. They will give you a 40-hour limit when it's like a 3-hour job. That doesn't mean you can charge them 8 hours of work. And if it's like something, because like if you're within an industry, you will probably know how long it will take you. So, gotta be fair.
I 100% agree with you. In fact, I still do that. Sometimes I rarely take hourly jobs, but sometimes due to different circumstances, I take hourly and I give them an estimation. If it reaches to that estimation, I stop the timer. If something really unexpected happened, something, very out of very ordinary, and I really have to, at that time, because it will take another, for example, you expected 4 hours, another 4 hours will come. I'll just start talking with them, say, okay, this happened, but I won't be charging you the full extra 4 hours. Can we do something in the middle? Can I charge you an extra 2 hours, and because I just missed it, the other 2 hours is on me. Things like that are very important for long-term client relationship.
This is their biggest concern, actually. This is like the most, I think, important thing, because it means that if you have a long-term relationship, it means that like you solve the work quality and you solved a bunch of problems, and now this is like your problem, where you have to just stabilize your increases, and you have to be balanced. Like this is a hard lesson I learned this year, so just actually today.
Okay. But as you know, I prefer after you are no more beginner level, I think the freelancer should be pushing on fixed rates. Fixed rates solves most of the problems, except something very rare, and it's much better. You don't have to run the clock and so on.
One of the best advices you can get from Mehmet, is what I got from him last year, and fixed price works. So, but it's for if you're a bit more advanced and
agree.
Just made some progress, then you can actually do it. Mehmet, let's call it a day. Let's wrap it up.
Agree. Yeah. We already talked all the summary as well. So let's see.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No. Let's talk about something new. Maybe we can talk about price negotiations, as you are in one lately. So we can talk about price negotiations in our next episode.
Yeah. Negotiations. Yeah. It's a crazy world. Money.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Money.
All right, then. We'll see you in the next episode.
Talk to you. Bye-bye.